At this point, I will ask Marvin to introduce our Client of the Year. We every year select a Client of the Year, someone that has taken SCORE information and been a tremendous success at it.
Thank you. Our Client of the Year this year was Yamane. And Niall moved here from California. He was an attorney, and he told his wife, okay, I'll move back to Alabama, but I will not practice law. So he wanted to go into business for himself, and the business that he chose was mixed martial arts, because he has been active in mixed martial arts since he was 7 or 8 years old in Hawaii, and he is a world champion. And so Marion and I had the pleasure of counseling him, and he would show up every Tuesday morning with a cardboard box full of folders. He was very well organized. He, I think we probably gave him the most help, but he can tell us what was the most help, but just in the demographics and pointing him in the right direction to the chamber so that he could get the information he needed to locate his business. And his business is down on 98, just before you get to Target, down in the hole where the barbecue place used to be. And in 2 short years, coming down here, opening his studio, there were no mixed martial arts studios around here, so he had no students or clients that were experienced in it. And in a little over 2 years, they became Alabama state champions, not once but twice, and they're continuing to add constantly to their membership. So I'll just let Niall have it.
What's a wire?
And I didn't introduce Niall's wife, his sister from Hawaii, and his father.
Thank you for having us here, and I'm really grateful and humbled to be acknowledged this way. I want to accept this award on behalf of myself and my wife, because we have 2 people in our business. Number 1 is my wife, and I'm number 2. I also want to thank my 89-year-old father for making the flight out here.
Wow.
It was a long flight. My sister was kind enough to volunteer 1 week of her vacation to bring my dad out here.
Oh, God,
he started teaching me martial arts when I was 6 years old. Back then in Hawaii, where I grew up, we wasn't playing football. They didn't have much of a basketball team there. And, sure didn't have a baseball team, so that's what we did back then. And I did it my whole life. Eventually, I played football when I got to 9th grade, so I led a different lifestyle. I want to give you the recipient's point of view with respect to what a phenomenal job you folks are doing out here. You have to look at it from my perspective. I came out here not knowing a single person. Having been to the area once, I was to get married in Silver Hill, and I went back. I knew nothing of the demographics. I didn't know where the high schools were. My biggest job was when I got out here was to find the grocery store. All right, that's how much I knew of the area. I knew nothing. So when I encountered Marvin and Marion, who, with their years of experience and the hundreds of years of experience of the people that worked with Marvin and Marion, I was in awe at what was being offered for free. And that was an eye-opening experience. I didn't know how to succeed, but I could tell I knew 1,000 ways to fail. And and Marvin and Marion quickly pointed them out to me whenever we had and that box that I would bring every Tuesday, Marvin and Marion with me was that was the equivalent of what Marvin would just mention to me at tax time when he had to have a client would come with a box of receipts and say, okay, figure out my taxes. That's what my box of information was, and it was all, a lot of it ended up being wrong. So I can tell you from first-hand experience that you can have all the brains in the world, but unless you know what you're doing, it's worthless. So Marvin and Marion really pointed me in the right direction, and I had many an eye-opening session with them on those Tuesday mornings. We met for almost half a year, more than half a year, and they taught me a lot about business. I did law for 25 years, but I did a lot of business. So in terms of what you folks do, it's an invaluable, underestimated, and honestly, I think it's an underpromoted benefit here. You ought to be charging for this. You ought to be getting paid many times over what some of these other CEOs are getting. Because I think if you added up all the years of experience, I bet you got over 1,000 years of experience here. And good experience, not just experience, but good experience. And so it's very humbling. And I want to share just a few things about my business because we've done pretty well. And I want to say the results of our business success are the results of your efforts. Your efforts. I had 1,000 ways to fail, but you gave me a way to succeed, and that was important. A couple interesting facts about our business. People bring their kids and teenagers to me for discipline, to learn respect, to learn persistence, to learn how not to quit, how to stand up for themselves, how to act, how they should conduct themselves, and a lot of other things that these kids and teenagers need nowadays. I don't get the best kids. I don't get the super athletes. I don't get the 4.0ers. I get the problem kids. You know, an average classroom in the county will have a handful of problem kids. You know, 3, 4, 5 that are real problems. Well, I tell you, know what those parents do? They bring them all to me. I'm serious. One third of the kids in my classrooms. No, maybe I'm exaggerating. 25% of the kids in my classrooms have diagnosed medical disabilities. And I'm not talking physical. I'm talking ADD, attention deficit, autism. Nearly 100% of that group is on medication. So I get a very interesting group. Another solid third of the kids in my school, and I'm saying kids and teenagers and even young adults, are there because of bullying problems, not just emotional, but verbal and sometimes, unfortunately, physical. A significant portion of my adult crew come to me because of similar issues that they've experienced, not just throughout their life, but even now. Single women, divorced women, some abused women. So it's with that crew that we've done business. I don't get the all stars. So that's what makes up our team. And had it not been for the assistance I got from Marvin and Marion and SCORE as a whole from this chapter, I wouldn't be able to offer the instruction, the lessons, and the experience that we are able to provide in this county. Now, with that team that I have, we have been real fortunate, we've been blessed, and I even wrote it down here because I want to share it with you. And this is what I'm really proud of. With this group of students, some would call them misfits, I call them my students. With this group, here's one stat I'm really proud to talk about. Given that we've got about 25% with diagnosed disabilities, including a lot of learning disabilities, our average GPA for our students, for our team as a whole, is 3.65. Wow. We have competed in all the SEC states, state championships. Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, and we brought home to this little area, to Baldwin County, Fair Oak and Daphne, 285 top 3 medals. It's 97 gold, 106 silver, and 82 bronze.
Wow.
We have won the Alabama State Championships two years in a row, and that's important and significant when you consider we're going against these big MMA teams where their fighters compete in cage fights with tattoos and mohawks. So I feel like I'm the coach of that little hockey team on that old show, that comedy show, The Mighty Ducks. and we give them a few lessons. We've even gone so far to step out of our little town, and we went down to Orlando, competed in national championships. We placed sixth in the nation in national championships a year ago. And then we had the audacity to go over to Dallas last year. Compete in the world championships there, and we placed 13th.
Wow.
I'm not bragging. I'm sharing this with you because me more so than anyone truly understands how easy it is to fail. And if I hadn't had Marvin's help and Marion's help, that would have probably happened. And had we not gotten Marvin and Marion's help, I'll share this with you. All the things that I just recited to you would probably not have happened. And so thanks to SCORE, we've done pretty well. Thank you so much.